Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Battleground 2016 review. I can't really say that this pay per view was bad, but once again, I found myself, you know, like on my phone during this. Um, it just it was unable to hold my attention once again. I felt like this was quite the uneventful pay per view once again. It's kind of hard to say that anything really substantial happened on this pay per view. There really was nothing to write home about at all. Really, like, name one thing on this pay per view besides Bayley debuting. What happened that was shocking or a surprise? I mean, this is the draft. This is supposed to be the start of a new era, and or another era. I mean, like, how many new eras are we supposed to have? The reality era, the Divas Revolution, the new era, the draft, new era. Like I said, how many times are they going to shuffle around the puzzle pieces? I have to use this analogy again because I think it's pretty effective. I have to say, I think of it as a bunch of puzzle pieces being shuffled around, and we're supposed to just accept this as new. And I think that's what WWE is hoping for. I think they're hoping for their core audience to just buy into this. Just say like, oh, okay, so it's a draft, it's a distraction. And I really find that the draft is like really annoying because what it is, it's like they've put people into a really difficult spot here with this draft. And so I'm gonna get to that in a minute because like I'll go on and on about this. This is like for a separate video. I'll probably do a draft video besides this video as well, because I think it really deserves to have its own video. Anyway, we started off, and I already mentioned this. Sasha introduces her mystery tag partner. It's Bayley, and then defeats Charlotte and Dana. Um, like I said with Dana, she's hot, but man, her spots in that ring are awkward as shit. And this is one of the cases where you can blame the wrestler. This is not the fault of the writers. That's Dana, and we've been hearing like people criticize her since NXT about that. This match was all right. It was an okay way to open the show. People are happy to see Bayley, but once again, it's the core audience once again. I had somebody attack me like at random in my predictions video saying that, SmackDown beat Raw. And I won't admit it. Actually, technically, it didn't beat Raw overall. I think at one point in the show it had like more viewers, but overall the rating was higher for Raw. So it's not me being dishonest. That's just the ratings. So I can't deny numbers. I would look foolish if I did that. So I don't know what that person's talking about. I'm not denying anything about the ratings or numbers or anything like that. So that's completely false. Don't know where you got that from. Uh, you know, so yeah, Sasha and Bayley win here. Um, I can't help but feel like this is a little bit distracting that Bayley debuted in this tag match, yet she doesn't get the win. Something is very bothersome about that. Did she get to shine a little bit in this match? Well, yeah, but I kind of feel like if someone's going to debut, they should at least, get the win. And yeah, they won as a team, but I kind of feel like she should have gotten the pinfall here, but then that would have taken the focus off of Sasha and Charlotte. So you see the problem here with the booking. You see how like they kind of book themselves into a corner. Like here you have somebody debuting, like it's kind of like Darren Young 2 weeks ago on Raw. You want to get Darren Young, into the Intercontinental title picture, but they go about it all in the wrong way. And you're going to see how they went about that in a wrong way as well. So let's move on. So the Wyatts defeated New Day. Nothing happened here. The Wyatts are splitting up in the draft. When I did my predictions video, I really didn't even pay attention in the draft. I kind of was talking about it. I didn't even realize that the Wyatts got split up. But New Day are not. So they're not even going to have the opportunity to really do anything with the storyline, which is just that is so completely fucking terrible. They just started this storyline and already they're gonna abandon it, drafting. So don't let the storyline stand in the way of the draft. But the thing is, it just shows how stupid this draft is, how fucking pointless it is. It just butchered all the current storylines that they had. Now I'm not saying that these storylines were great or super intriguing, but it just shows how cheap the company is. It's like, oh, this is how dedicated we are to our storylines. Without their storylines and their feuds, what is wrestling? What is this product? Besides having some talented guys and girls on the roster, it shows that the directions of their careers are like really just like they're disposable, really, like interchangeable. That they'll just write something new. This is how careless it is. Back in the day during the Attitude Era, and I know, oh, here we go again with that. If the storylines are everything, if they abandoned the storyline, they would have lost ratings. And this is the type of shit that's going to cost them even more and more because they can't stay dedicated. This is why they can never build any stars. This is why they can't come up with any great content or storylines or feuds that really stick with the people and draw in new fans, because they don't stay dedicated. They don't commit to anything. They haven't stayed committed to a star. I mean, look at the past couple of years, the stars, the world champions we've had. From CM Punk to Daniel Bryan to Ryback to all of them. We've seen them go all over the place, basically. We saw Daniel Bryan jump from the world title to the Intercontinental title. And then we saw, Ryback being a top contender for the world title, knocked into almost obscurity, being put into a tag team and then thrown into the Intercontinental title. And now I don't even think he's technically under contract with WWE anymore. So you could see just throughout the years how they haven't managed to build anybody. And the Wyatts are another example. Once again, Bray Wyatt is on his own. So they started off together, broke them up, put them back together, and now I'm tearing them apart again. And it's like, a guy like Eric Rowan, they could make him a star. But that they're not. And Braun Strowman, I mean, Braun Strowman was supposed to face The Undertaker this year. That could have been huge for a guy like Braun Strowman, but they abandoned the idea. Now, of course, if they booked it the right way, that could have actually been a big attraction. Of course, the YWC would, start saying, that would have been a boring big man match and everything, but forgetting that WrestleMania is a spectacle. But it's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is basically, this is a stupid fucking move. They just tore the Wyatts apart not too long ago and realized that they made a mistake. And even though it really wasn't that much of a mistake, because Bray would have been fine on his own with the proper booking and writing. So once again, we're going to abandon this storyline. Then we go from Rusev, and he defeats Zack Ryder for the U.S. title. So, the Woo era is off to a great start, I suppose. The match was okay, decent match and everything, but once again, I mean, it's so basic. Where does Zack Ryder go from here? Losing in dominating fashion. So it's kind of like, where did these guys go from here? Titus, Zack, they're going to be lost in obscurity, basically. They try to reinvent Zack Ryder, as I said, and it's not going to happen, because they're not staying committed. Once again, I've said this time and time again, Zack Ryder is another example of not staying committed. The whole crowd goes crazy for the guy, They give him a little push at WrestleMania, make him win the IC title, and the very next night it's back to business as usual, being a jobber for Zack Ryder. I mean, do you realize like how crazy and all over the place WWE is? And it's, some people will write this off as unpredictability. It's not unpredictability. It's just being a shit fucking company, basically, and not knowing exactly what they're doing. And if you hear a weird sound, those are like automatic sprinklers out here. Anyway, you've got Sami Zayn finally defeating Kevin Owens. This was a pretty decent match, I have to say. The only thing that takes away from it is the fact that we've seen it 1,000 fucking times, and I pray to fucking God it's over. So these guys are on the same show. I think they're both on Raw. I can't even remember. That's how much I care about this draft. And so let me talk a little bit. You know what? Maybe I'll save that towards the end. I'll talk about the draft at the end. I'll give you guys a little bit of a juicy nugget for people to stay tuned to the end of the video. This was a pretty good match. I liked it for what it was. And I hope it's the end of the feud. I really don't want to see these guys wrestle for a very, very long time. Natalya defeated Becky Lynch. I was a little bit surprised by this. I don't really know where they're planning on going with this. Very poor character development for Natalya. Doing the very, very basic, bowing to the crowd and like laughing in the ring. It seemed very generic. Why not have Natalya? Someone said, Natalya might be a great wrestler, but she's boring as shit. Yeah, because that's how they're presented. Once again, it's the writing. I don't know. Maybe it's impossible, but Natalya could be better. I mean, are you telling me they can't come up with anything for her? You know what I'm saying? No. I'm sorry. Natalya could be so much better than this. They're not even trying with her. Like I said, a couple of years ago, the farting gimmick, was that trying? Was that really, giving it the old college try? I don't really think so. That's kind of more of a fucking insult to our intelligence, and really an insult to the wrestler themselves. So anyway, up next you've got The Miz and Darren Young, and here's the thing, what bothered me about this match. Miz, I don't know, the finish to this, you could say it was eventful, but it was also like a fucking mess. So Bob Backlund rips his shirt off. He's getting pissed off about what's going on in the ring, and Maurice throws herself on the ground. Miz goes outside, pushes Bob Backlund down, and then Darren Young locks in the crossface chicken wing. It was a count out or disqualification or a double DQ, or I don't know what the finish was. And here's the thing, I don't really care. And why is that? Because maybe I might, moderately care a little bit. I might modestly care about this match if maybe these guys were going to be on the same show, but they're going to different shows, so we're not going to know. So, once again, planning ahead of time, what the fuck was the point of having this non-finish to this match if we're never going to get a finish in the future? So we just had this match just because. Well, thanks for that. Much appreciated for wasting our time with a pay-per-view match nonetheless. I wouldn't give a shit if this was on Raw or SmackDown, but for God fucking sakes, it's on a fucking pay-per-view, which is supposed to be all eyes on this show. So that's just fucking unacceptable. How do you book a show like that with where you have a match where two guys go to a non-finish, and yet they're not going to end up on the same show? Right. Okay. Cena, Enzo, and Cass, which, by the way, the pre-match promo, just fantastic. I mean, every single time Enzo and Cass get on that mic, except for that whole thing where they were talking about the whole, trombone. Like, Enzo was going to make out with a trombone. That was the only miss, really, that he had on the mic so far, being on the main roster. Aside from that, these guys have been on fire. Like, every single time they come out on Raw or pay-per-view, they're knocking it out of the fucking park. It was no different here. Decent match. Nothing really that special, but it was okay, you know. You had Cena there, Enzo, AJ, some star power, so I'm not really going to complain there. The highlight reel with Jericho and Orton. This was entertaining, I guess. Orton was a bit more on, which I've actually noticed. Orton's have had more of a fun personality the past couple of years. And the thing is, really, Orton does have a presence. You know, I might knock the guy from time to time, maybe not as much as I used to. But, you know, when the guy climbs up on the second rope and spreads his arm out, tell me that you guys, you know, that you haven't gone into your bathroom and you've done that, like, in the shower or in front of the mirror when no one's looking. Come on, guys. You know, there's certain mannerisms and stuff, and you might hate Orton, you might complain about how the guy works in the ring, and, you know, he might not be that charismatic, but, you know, the guy has a presence to him, he has star power. And whether we like it or not, that's really the truth, and it's about telling the truth, really, because that's what I'm about. And, you know, the guy looks like a star. I never argued that point. You know, there was times when I was getting pissed with Orton. You know, like when he won Money in the Bank. Like, I still stand by that stuff that I said back then. I might have changed a couple of things. You know, Orton was getting stale for a time. They weren't really doing anything with the guy, but, you know, I like this Orton-Lesnar match, and I love how he, like, dropped the mic at the end, and he said that he didn't need any enhancement. See, those are the type of cracks that I would have loved to see Seth Rollins use against Roman Reigns, but they dropped the ball. You know, they could have went so much further than that, and I think that was good what they had Orton do. That was a nice little shoot that they threw in there, and I was pretty satisfied with the whole promo. Jericho just comes off as a fucking weirdo nowadays. Like, I don't even understand, like, his character. He's, like, so eccentric now. Like, you know, he just used to be this obnoxious, funny guy, but now he's just, like, this weirdo. You know, it really, he just, I think of him, like, as a weirdo. Man, you know, I don't really get this character. You know, I don't know, like, what the hell they're trying to do with Jericho, but it's not working. I mean, it was okay, like, it worked here, but normally, like, on a normal basis, it is not fucking working with Jericho. They need to stop whatever that is they're having him do. So, the main event, Ambrose, Rollins, and Roman. I don't know, for some reason, like, this was a decent match. I thought, like, maybe it might have been a little bit better, you know. I'm just saying, it could have, I kind of envisioned the Shield, like, triple threat match to be a little bit better than this, but it was still good for what it was. So the title is now on SmackDown. How is this going to work? You know, the last time they had a title, the WWE title, when the draft started off, the champion would move between the shows, but now they were stressing at the end of this pay-per-view that the belt now belongs to SmackDown. And they've been refuting claims, WWE, that they're coming out with a second belt. So, I don't know if they're going to try doing some weird thing where SmackDown has the belt. Like I said, I think it's only going to happen for like a month, because I think they're going to do Roman and Dean at SummerSlam, and I think Roman will probably win the belt back. So then it's going to end up on Raw, and then maybe they might come out with a second belt. There's no way around this unless they're going to make the champion interpromotional, which I kind of like that idea. I don't really know how I feel. Just as long as they don't have the champions hopping around like they used to, like, it's fine. If you want to just have one champion and keep them on that show, because like I know they're going to do that interpromotional match, and I'm not a big fan of that because already they're going to start, breaking down the barriers of the draft. Like I think for a good year or so, if they're going to do this draft, like adhere to the draft rules, adhere to the brand extension rules, and keep the exclusivity of the shows. I mean, for God's sakes, they're going to do separate pay-per-views. So okay, so let's talk about this match. So, well, let's talk about this draft. Is what I really want to say. So here's the thing with this draft. Like I said, it's just a bunch of puzzle pieces. You're shifting things around, and it's not really doing much. As like what I mentioned in my predictions video, you're just shuffling things around, just to kind of give the illusion. It's showing no effort, is what it is, and it's like annoying. I want to see Bray Wyatt, but he's going to be on SmackDown. I want to see AJ, but he's going to be on SmackDown. I want to see Cena, but he's going to be on SmackDown. I want to see Baron Corbin, but he's going to be on SmackDown. Okay, so Brad, so why don't you just watch SmackDown? Because I know that Raw is going to be the A show. And I want to see Roman. And I want to see Dean. And I want to see Enzo and Cass especially. So, and the thing is, what what they're doing here is they're causing a lot of like the reason why a lot of people are going to be watching SmackDown is because you're going to have Mauro Ranallo as the lead commentator. Like, well, he already is. I like that they're going to have Corey Graves on the Raw announce team. I really wish that he was replacing Byron Saxton, but in the way, I'm kind of happy that JBL is out of there. Maybe now it's going to be a little bit different with Graves and Byron. And I think Byron and Graves, didn't they call the matches in NXT for a brief time, like in 2014 or something? So I don't know. They're used to working together. I'm still not a big fan of Brian Sex Addict. I kind of wish that they would just get him out of there. If it was up to me, I'd put more Ranallo on Raw. Give him the fucking A show. It's the fact that it's Raw, and it's just, Raw to me, especially how they've treated SmackDown in the past couple of years, I can't erase that from my mind. I mean, they're probably going to try harder now at SmackDown, but I'm sorry. It's one or the other. And, the allure of Monday nights, I'm just going to keep it to Raw. Because it always seems like, Raw's the big legacy show. As Vince even put it, it's the juggernaut. And I don't care what anybody says. When Vince said that promo, that just confirmed within me that they're going to still treat Raw as the special show. So, like, SmackDown's going to be, like, okay and all that. But it's not going to really be considered to be still their best offering. And I know people are going to argue with this and everything, and they're going to say, oh, well, Cena's on SmackDown and AJ's on SmackDown, so that means that they are, treating it as an equal. And I disagree with that. And a lot of, and the poor argument here is where WWE's kind of shooting themselves in the foot. A lot of the reason, just a weird sound over there. I don't know what the fuck that was, but anyway, one of the reasons why people are going to watch SmackDown, people are saying this. This is what I'm looking at in the YWC. This is what I'm looking at all over the internet. Some people are going to watch SmackDown simply because it's 2 hours while Raw is 3 hours. Now, the fact that you're going to watch a show just based on the running time, that's pretty fucking sad. And I can't blame certain people. But if that's the case, it's probably better not to watch any of the shows at all. Okay, well, we're past that argument already of, we're going to stay in this for the long run. We're curious. We want to see where this is going to go. We're curious about the draft. I might be bashing it, but I still want to see where it's going to go. And so I'm not going by running time of the show. I'm going to stick with Raw. And I'm going to DVR Raw. Skip through the commercials and everything. Watch the 2.5 hours. And well, this is what they've done. They've made this decision to where people are going to scrutinize the show because it's over 3 hours, and it's like, how can you really blame them? You really want them to sit there at 3 hours when you're offering a show that's shorter and still has a lot of star power? But you're saying, though, that Raw's the juggernaut. So you see where the problem rises here about having this draft. Like I said, it's the puzzle pieces being shifted around. They're not doing anything. And the fact that we even have to debate which is the better show, like during like 1999 and 2000, 2001, and during the beginning of the draft, they were equals. SmackDown was just as, must see as Raw was. There really wasn't a difference in the shows, like in terms of quality. It was kind of just preference, what stars you liked. So that's what made the draft exciting. To a certain extent, there was, even the original draft, there was so many things that they could have done better, so many little adjustments they could have made. But yeah, alright, so this show, it wasn't terrible, but it was very pointless, is what I'm saying. It really was, and I don't really understand what they're going to do with the world title in the future. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, that's unpredictable, but I know they're going to do that interpromotional match. And, I'd rather just have a little bit more of, like, solidity for the future. Like, kind of give us a little bit of a template of what this new era is going to be, because it's all over the fucking place. I mean, half these draft picks don't even make sense. You have a pay-per-view with a bunch of matches, and half of these guys are not even going to... They just started feuds with each other. Like the Wyatts and New Day just started feuds with each other. Darren Young and Miz, and now they're not going to be able to finish out their feuds, and they're not going to have conclusions to these feuds because they're not even going to be on the same show. And unless they're going to do an interpromotional match between Darren Young and The Miz, ooh, the anticipation is killing me. It's not going to happen. Alright, guys, so I'll see you for the Raw review. This show was decent. I mean, from a wrestling standpoint, for the in-ring action, not too bad. But really, from like an overall future standpoint, this being the new era and this being the draft era, and this, we're supposed to be excited, this was pretty uneventful. Really, nothing happened on this show to excite us. What happened to the former stars, like I said, they were going to bring back? I don't see them. Half of these guys are like, they're refuting the claims that they're going to be showing up. MVP, Carlito, Shelton Benjamin might be coming back. That's what Teddy Long says. I don't know what Teddy Long has to do with any of this, but anyway, I guess once again we'll see what happens, but I'm not seeing anything happen now. I mean, this is the thing, the draft has already happened, so I don't know, maybe tomorrow or on SmackDown. I'm not going to watch SmackDown, but maybe something will happen there, but I'm kind of doubting it. Anyway, guys, I don't know, is Brock Lesnar scheduled for tomorrow's Raw? Are they going to start building up this Orton-Brock match? If so, that's a little bit exciting. I'm interested in that. Other than that, there's nothing really to look forward to on Raw.